Good evening. Today is Monday, September 26th, 2022, and we're in El Monte, California. Can you please introduce yourself?
My name is Joanna. My Chinese name is Wang Jianhua. 33 years ago, I came from Shanghai to United States. I've been working for a law office, and I'm also a licensed real estate agent. And my hobby and my from childhood dream is to perform Yue opera. And I'm now the chief of Los Angeles Yue Opera Troupe.
Great. So I understand that you went to the opera with your grandmother.
Yeah, that was a long time story. You know, if we tell a story, you can say, once upon a time. That was, long time ago when I was a little girl. My grandma, she loves drama. She loves opera, all kinds. Not only Yue opera, but also Xi opera and Shanghai opera too. So she always bring me to the theater to watch those operas. So when I was only like 5 or 6 years old, I'm already been in the theater and already familiar with the Chinese, how the theater look like. It's always a lot of smoke, people like smoking, a lot of smoke. And also you can hear people sell sunflowers, you know, those snacks. And also when the show starts, people sometimes still talking. It's not that as quiet as when we perform in United States. Seems no matter they like it or not, everybody is silent. They watch or whatever, but anyway, they will not talk. But the old times, they were talking. They were still talking. But as a child, what I can remember, I think I don't talk. I really concentrate on the stage. I'm really attracted by the actors, actress. And when come back home, my sister was 6 years older than I. And she and her friends also like Yue opera. So they would like make me up. They put me those costumes they bought or sometimes they made and put on me. And we of course don't have the costume like a dress. What we use the bath sheet and put on the body and standing on the bed and pretending like a sing and perform. But really, I really can sing and don't understand what the stage or the actor, actress is perform. But just like have those kind of a tune. That was when I was only 5 or 6 years old.
Yeah, so you went to many different types of operas. What struck you about your opera?
Yeah, those operas are local, you know, like close to Shanghai. You know, they also have like a Shanghai opera, but I don't like. I like the singing of the Shanghai opera. It's also soft, but mostly they presents the modern society. It's not classic, and I like your opera because their costumes. When you put your makeup, you look like the old days Asian classic Chinese. What's in the painting, in the Chinese painting. So those kind of a beauty really attract me. So I can sing a very little bit other operas when I was young, but now I all forget. Only Shanghai opera I can sing a few. But I really love Yue opera that much, so I even never think about those operas. It's always concentrate on Yue opera.
So what can do you have a favorite story that is performed? Do you have when you were growing up? Did you have a favorite story?
Yeah. My favorite story is The Dream of the Red Chamber, and this is also Yue opera being filmed and performed by my master Xu Yulan and Wang Wenjuan. Xu Yulan was played the role as Jia Baoyu, and Wang Wenjuan played the role as Lin Daiyu. Those two peoples I really loved, but from childhood I really, Xu Yulan, Master Xu Yulan is my idol. So
you saw her on stage at that point?
Yeah. So I saw her on the stage, and I learned when I starting to seriously sing the Yue opera, and I tried, and it's really, I'm very lucky, was agreed by Master Xu Yulan to take me as her student. It's really helped me a lot. Really, that was my dream. Yeah.
Did you ever meet her as a child?
No. She was like a high
right.
above, and I even had very little chance to see her on stage, because when I was young, my grandma don't go to those theaters. She only bring me to the theaters close to my home. So that was first time I see Yue opera. But when I grown up a little bit, actually I never think about it that I will sing Yue opera, someday. I'm so concentrated on it, because at my time, my parents want me to go to college, and in China, if you don't go to college, then you will not have a good job. Unfortunately, when I was like a teenagers, like 17, 18 years old, that was during Cultural Revolution, and I have to go to the countryside to learn how to grow rice and weeds, grow vegetables. And my dream is, since I'm a I'm a, urban city girl, but in the city, we don't know anything about the countryside. I don't know how to grow, vegetables, grow rice, those plants. We don't know how to grow the crops, so we don't know. So once we have to go to the countryside, we have to go there. But we really, actually, from my bottom of heart, I always dreamed to come back to the city as soon as possible. Mm-hmm. So that time, what I really dreamed is can go to college, and I really worked very hard towards my goal. And finally, in the year of 1973, I was able to go to Shanghai Teachers University and to learn English. It's the English department. So that's my dream come true, that I left the countryside and had a good education in Shanghai. That was my dream. But when the Gang of Four was defeated, and the Chinese traditional opera will regularly go back to the stage, and I was able to see Master Xu Yulan on the stage again. But at that time, she was not Jia Baoyu. She was an old lady on the stage, because at the time, still, when the Gang of Four was just defeated, it's not immediately classical operas was on the stage. There was still like modern ones. So Master Xu, who was such a beautiful, such a bright role in the stage, she can only play as like an older lady. So I was so disappointed. Wow, my idol, how come it become like an old lady? However, later on, and the film the very famous and which made all the Chinese people know Yue opera is The Dream of the Red Chamber, was finally put back on the cinemas. So we were able to watch, and then later on, with the like a TV, become popular, and we were able to see on the TV. So from that time, and also can hear from the radio. So at that time, we don't have the scripts, and we don't know how to sing. So every time when the radio says that what time and which day, then the Dream of Red Chamber will on the air, then I try to turn it on and try to write it down, whatever, how fast as possible to write down those scripts that try to remember and try to imitate, to learn. And my first one, which I loved, is My Memory of the Past. That was Master Shu's famous one from this film. So, and when I come to United States, that was, I think, in the 90s, karaoke become popular. And one of my relatives, and she knows that I love Yue opera, and she was able to buy the LED, the big one, the big one. So she gave me as a gift. And when someone come from Shanghai to United States and brought it to me, and I was so excited to have that. Among all those songs, there are two is Master Shu's piece. It's all from The Dream of the Red Chamber. So I learned these two. So occasionally when they have parties, like a community, they have parties, and then they say, they have for like a talent show. Anybody want to sing something? And then my friend says, oh, she can sing Yue opera. I participated in the Shanghainese club. Shanghainese club, they are people all from Shanghai. So Yue opera is very popular in Shanghai. So they say, oh, you can sing Yue opera. Okay, sing one. Then I starting to sing. Then say, wow, you sound so good. Like your voice sounds like a Master Shu. So really, they say, yeah. Then one time, I'm talking a long story, huh? So that was in the year 2001. Master Shu's a student, and she's the best student, I think, in my eyes. She's the best student of Master Shu. Came to Los Angeles to perform, and my husband helped them to organize the show. So after the show, and I was so excited, I said, wow, your show's so good. I love your opera that much. If you can be my teacher, that will be great. But just like after the show, we have like a dinner together. It's my explanation of how I love the Yue opera. Actually, from the bottom of my heart, I don't really think there could be a chance for me really to learn from her. And she said, oh, if you're really interested in Yue opera, I can't be your teacher, but Master Shu could be your teacher. I said, well, really? I think maybe, when we're talking, she just don't want to disappoint me and say that. But out of my expectation, and before she leave Los Angeles, she says, okay, you can record one or two pieces, and I'll bring back to Shanghai and give to Master Shu, see how she's willing to take you as a student. I said, really? Okay. Then so immediately I recorded. At that time it's not in the, the facilities, just at home. Come out the music from the karaoke, and I just using the regular recorder and just recorded. And she took the tape back to Shanghai, and give to Master Xu. That was about like, that time communication is not easy. So, so wait for like at least a month. Then words came. She says, Master Xu listened to your tape. And she says, well, you're so good. You have a good voice. And you can imitate very well. Especially, it's easy for you to sing. But when you talk, use the Yue opera language, it's more difficult. But you can imitate very good. So she says, yeah, she will take you as her student. I was so excited. I said, really? It's really dream come true? I can't believe it. And the same year, that was in June, because I have 2 kids. One is in high school, one is still small. So am I working in the law office? I'm very busy. So I said, okay. Then my husband said, okay, let's go to Shanghai in June when the kids, we have the summer vacation. So we all went to Shanghai. My husband is, he is a scholar, and his teacher is also famous in China. So he knows more people than I do, in the, Beijing Opera, Kun Opera, and Shanghai Opera. He knows more people than I do at that time. So he organized everything, and my dream come true. I really, Master Xu took me as a student, and we have a very formal reception, formal celebration for that. Well, it was in Shanghai, a big hotel, and we have like 4 tables. Each table have 10 to 12 people, friends, relatives, and famous actors, actresses, from Shanghai. So it's really unforgettable for me. That was 21 years ago.
Can we go back to various points of your story, and don't feel free to not tell us, to not, you don't want to answer the question. Do you, where were you sent? Where were you sent during the Cultural Revolution?
That was in Jiangxi province. Yeah, it's a very poor place.
Yeah. Do you have any memories that any memories of that place that you want to share, or your experience?
Yeah, it's a poor place, but the peasants are very nice. They are nice, and the condition is very bad. It's just really bad, and for me, we actually is. I'm born in the city and never been to the countryside for such a long time. Especially the time when we go to the countryside, we don't know if we're able to go back to the city. So it's kind of like hopeless for me. However, I still work very hard, and I tried very hard to learn from peasants to how to grow the plants. I still work hard, but I'm not that, how to say, a lot of people want to go back to, it's not go back. A lot of people say, okay, if I can go to a factory, then I'm satisfied. I say, no, I don't like to go to factory, and I want to go to college. So even if they have like a quota for you to go to a factory, which is a very good choice for you, I say, no, I don't want it. I want to go to college. That's my dream. Yeah. And good thing, when I was in the countryside, I still try to write articles, and when we working, that time they was working, carry like stones. They build something says for 水库 I don't know what is dam. They work for like to build a dam. So carry those big stones, and then I try to encourage people to work. If you I just like to cheer people up. When someone to cheer up, then I was using I was trying to talk to them and loudly and use microphones and to cheer them up. So they were happy. And I also write articles to tell people what happens, who is doing so great, do good job, something like that. So after that, I become like a little bit famous in the to say 公社. So they become a little bit famous. They say, oh, this girl can write good articles. So I was picked up to write articles, but I'm not interested in politics at all. So I only like describe people near me, those kind of things. I'm not interested in political things at all. So finally I was able to be picked by the peasants, because some people, when they go to the countryside, they don't work. They get money from their parents, and they just they cannot actually make their own, make a living by themselves. They have to be supported by the parents. But I try to work, and I can support myself. So when they choose people to go to college, then I was picked because I work hard in all different ways. Also participating in the work on the field, and I also try to write articles, those kind of things. So I was picked up. So I'm very glad.
Yeah. Several musicians who lived through the Cultural Revolution that we've talked to, they have talked about doing music and theater in the countryside.
Yeah.
Did you do any of that, or?
No, I didn't. I didn't have that chance.
Okay.
Yeah.
So what brought you to the U.S.?
My husband my husband actually was studied in UC Berkeley as a visiting scholar, so I came and joined him. Yeah.
And what were your first impressions? This was in the 90s, you said?
Yeah, actually, before I came to United States, I working for the trading company. The trading company has chance to discuss contracts with the foreign countries. I've been to Germany twice before I go to United States. So I like Germany very much. So the first impression when I come to United States, United States is supposed to be the number one most developed country in the world. How come it's not as it's not as developed as Germany? Germany looks more developed. That's to me. But later on,
because it's cleaner, or
they are more cleaner, and they are, especially in Los Angeles, you can see a lot of houses look like doesn't look like doesn't look that nice. Looks so. To me, it's not that developed. But later on, you see when the malls, when the build malls more beautiful. Previously it was just like a garage to me, the ceilings. So, but actually, because at that time I don't know United States, that well, only from the appearance. But later on, I feel, United States, it's such a country, then your dream come true. You can come true if you work hard enough. Yeah.
Yeah. So you first lived in Berkeley, or?
Yes, first in Berkeley, just for very few months. Then I transferred to Los Angeles. And I feel Los Angeles is more developed than Berkeley. Berkeley's street was small. It's very hard to find a parking space, you know. So, to be honest, I like Los Angeles better than San Francisco because Healy, I was scared to drive.
Did you find a Shanghainese community right away? Or?
No. There was Shanghainese community was established, I think, in the 1990s, 1999, or something like that. Yeah.
But did you know friends before the society was developed?
Yeah.
Were you with Shanghai friends or?
Yes. Yeah. I have a lot of Shanghainese friends.
How did you find them when you first moved here?
Like friends have a party, then one friend, then have a party, then a lot of friends. Then they invite you to their circle, because my husband, he is very, popular people because he can talk very, very humor and people like to listen to him. Mm-hmm. So when they have a party, they always invite us. So finally, by and by, we have established our circles. And also, my husband is one of the founder of the Shanghainese Club. Mm-hmm. And I'm also a director of them.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So before you sang your opera for your friends, how did you learn? You were just listening and then trying to copy, or how did that process work?
Yeah, before I became the student of Master Xu, mm-hmm. Yeah, that's what I do. I always listen and copy, and after Master Xu took me as a student, then she taught me over the phone. I'm very busy because I have 2 kids, and I have a business, and I have to work every day. So being a working mother, I put a lot of efforts on my 2 kids. Only on my free time, then I, learn. Most of the time is when I was driving. Yeah, when I was driving. So I always have the tape there. The time when I go to work always took me at least 30 minutes from home to work. So every day, go to work, back from work, that's my time to learn. And later on, Master Xu talked to me over the phone. At the first, that was the year 2001. So, communication is a little bit better. Previously, when I first come to United States, we cannot afford to pay for long distance call.
Right.
But that time when the year 2001, it's become better and better. So I was able to talk to her over the phone. She was asking me, at first I was afraid to sing in front of her. So I always recorded and let her listen to my recording. And she says,
send it, or did you play over the phone?
I play over the phone, over the phone. And she says, no, you sing without music. so I have to sing without music. Then she finds the problem and she tell me. And for one time, it was very difficult for me for the high tone. It's like we says the neck, the the neck of the bottle, right? So you have to go through it, then, otherwise you're always there. So I think because Master Shu was so far away, even if she tell me, but at the time she becomes my teacher, she's already 80 years old. So I think, she's 80 years old. It's not easy for her to present by singing herself, So I said, and also over the phone, it's different, like face to face. So I said, and she told me, you can find a Beijing opera, who plays the role of like an old lady, Lao Dan. And she says their vocal level is similar to us. I said, where can I find these people? I can't find anyone in Los Angeles. I don't know them. Then I said, maybe I try to learn singing. It will help. Then I first find people who sing the classical. It's classical, and it seems. And
Western classical.
It's like a 民
Okay.
民歌
Yeah.
民歌
Understood.
Okay, like how to say, it's a folk song.
Yeah.
Folk song, yeah. I first find a teacher, then not teacher, just a singer. She sing folk song. Then I said, maybe I can learn from her. But after like 2 lessons, I found no, she cannot teach me, because I found it's different. Then my friend, one time I also in the choir. Los Angeles, they have some choirs. So then one of my friends, she said, teacher so and so, teacher Zhang is very good, and maybe you can learn from her. I said, okay. So I learned from her, but she sings the like Western songs. I said, okay, anyway, I can learn from her. So after I learned, I told the teacher, I will not come every week because I'm really busy. I need a time to digest what you teach me. So I said, every 2 weeks, I have 1 lesson. And the teacher says, okay. So for every 2 weeks, after like 5 lessons, I found when I sing real opera, it's different. So I said, so I talked to my daughter's piano teacher. I said, I learned 5 lessons. How come when I sing real opera, I found this is different. It's not as good as before. What happens to me? And she told me, if you learn how to sing, it will actually help you to sing real opera. Don't worry, soon you'll benefit from that. I said, okay, then I sing another like 2 times. And after 8 times, when I talked to my master, I said, recently I cannot find the teacher, from a Beijing opera. So I find a teacher who sing Western songs. And I feel, when I sing real opera, it's different. She said, okay, then you sing to me. And when I sing to her, she said, okay, stop learning from this teacher. It's totally different. Then I stopped. And then when I tell the teacher the last time and tell the teacher, I said, Teacher Zhang, I really appreciated that you taught me and encouraged me. But however, my dream is to sing, real opera, not your style song. So today will be my last time to learn from you. And she said, wow, Joanna, it's really, you have such a good voice. If you learn to sing songs, then you'll become famous in Los Angeles, I promise you. I said, well, yeah, thank you for encouragement, but this is not my purpose to learn. You know, my purpose to learn from you because I have the, difficult for the high tune. So I try to learn from you, I'm able to overcome. But seems like when I learn from you, when I sing the real opera, it's different because I really don't know. So I have to stop learning. But fortunately, after a few months, this learning really helped me a lot. I learned how to sing, and I utilized the way to sing your opera, and I'm getting better. But still, the period, like a few months, when I sing your opera is different. It's not good. That's for sure, because I don't know how to transfer from what I learned to the real opera. But later on, when I used that to my singing, it's helped me. I really benefited from that.
Can you describe this process a little bit? How do you discover how to apply these principles to a very different sound?
Yeah, for like Western, they sing, for example, they say, that's use, But when we sing your opera, we don't use 假音. We don't use the 假音 that much. We using our own voice. 天上掉下个林妹妹. You can see the difference, right? But when I see the high tune, how to say? Then I use that for example when see it's open, but use the how to say, I really difficult to explain in English.
Okay.
Yeah, it's difficult for me to explain, but it's totally different. So the position of your inside is different. But I learned how to open inside. This helped me to learn. Yeah.
Thank you. Can you describe what were your first impressions of your master when you first talked to her?
She's very kind. For me, I think she is a teacher for so many professionals. For me, is amateur, so maybe she will not teach me like the professional. That's true. It's professional. The teacher is different, but she was very patient, and she was the age of 80, but she was teach me by doing every step, how to walking, how to use your hand, and very detailed. I didn't expect she would do that to me. That was in the year of 2003 or 2004. We're going to put on stage, and she encouraged me. She said, "Well, yeah, you can perform the Dream of Red Chamber." I was afraid because this is a very difficult piece to perform, because the feelings, you have to be in a very good way to perform their feelings. So to me, it's a very difficult piece. But Master Xu, she teach me the first time. She was like at her home. She was teaching me from every step, how to use your sleeve, and your face was supposed, and how to talk. Not just like one time, because at the time I don't have any experience. I don't know how to do. Even I don't know how to walk. It's the walk, it's different. Yes. So it's very difficult. So I really don't know which foot go first. Second, I don't know that. So she teach me again and again and again. And later on, when I tried to put the dream of a red chamber, the whole story on the stage, she was that was in the year, she was like 89 years old. So she was not able to teach me one step by one step. So she arranged her student and to teach me for 3 days in a row at her home. One step, teach me. And so I was finally able to put that on stage. She's kind, but she's strict. When you didn't perform in the right way, and she would tell you, okay, no, that's not the right way. She will correct you immediately, especially when I sing, and she will tell me, just like when I learn from the teacher for singing, she's stop immediately. So she's strict. She's very supportive. All my costumes, at that time, you can hardly find costumes on the market. No one. Right now, there are a lot, it's become a kind of a business. But at that time, when I started to learn, no costumes on the market. So you have to, like music costumes, I have to go through Master Xu. So all my costumes for the Red Chamber is ordered by her. And she even gave me, like as gift, the most famous 2 costumes. And for my shoes, for my rehearsal, clothes, it was given by her. And all my, like a hat, these kind of things is very difficult to buy from the market. So she ordered everything for me. So before she was 90 years old, all my costumes, that means 10 years after I become her student, she ordered all those things, or even some is a gift from her. Only when she become like 90 years old, the market has changed a little bit. It's not that difficult. We're still able to find, especially she's old. I don't want to bother her that much, because when she was 90, she says, okay, you can still, I can still help you, but I feel, if I'm able to find myself, I don't want to bother her. Very supportive. And she took all her students like her daughter. She treated me too. Every time when I go to Shanghai, first thing is I see my parents, and the next day I go to her house to see her. And she would always say, you look good. Oh, your hair is grow longer. Oh, you are 小生. You shouldn't have your long hair, okay? And then they would say, well, don't wear dress. He don't want a skirt, okay? You pretending to be a man, so no skirt. I'm sorry, today I have a skirt. And she would always find me if I am in good mood, or long time no see, and if I'm lose weight, or if my hair is grow longer or something, all those details. American people don't comment on that, but Chinese people, Chinese people, comment this. Just like we say, oh, it's a nice day today. It's always a comment. Oh, you look good today. Wow, you're pretty. You seems you lose weight. Wow, you gain weight. Something. This means people, they care about you, so they noticed your little difference from what she seen you last time. So she was always able to, tell the difference when she, in her memory or last time she saw me. Yeah.
So were these lessons one-on-one? Were other students around?
No, just one by one. She's only gave me alone. And also whenever I go to China to perform, sometimes other organization, they invited me to participate their event. Then if I go there, then Master Xu would present at the theater. This is a great honor for me. It's not, she, even like a professional actress, if they have like a new play, if they want to invite Master Xu to present, she not always present. She only pick up some. But every time when I go there, she always present. I know she's support. She knows that to perform in United States, year after year, it's difficult. It's not easy. She never say anything, but she just support me every time when I perform. She's always there. So when people, she has so many fans. So when she's there, the people were so excited, and they would ask, "Oh, Master Xu come is for who?" So it's really a great honor for me. Yeah, I really feel her strong support everywhere.
How soon did you start performing in China?
You mean the piece how long?
No, like how long after you studied with Master Xu that you began performing in China?
I first performed in United States. Yeah, I first. First was they have like a Shanghainese club. They invited like a famous star from Shanghai, and then because I'm also a member and also director, we're also helping to organize those events. Then I said, well, can we also perform on the stage? Then says, okay. So from year 2003 or 2, I think, I started to perform in Los Angeles. And from year 2003, then I have our own, it's called Shanghainese Yue Club. We have a Yue Club because, as I mentioned last time, because we don't have a lot of people who can perform, so we just as a club. And then later on the year 2006, we started to have our own Yue Opera Night. So we changed the name to Yue Opera Troupe. And we have more and more people join us.
So the first time it's just you?
First time, me and another lady, and old lady. They are, I'm not young, and they are more older than me. So, if you're too old to put on the stage, then people don't like to, watch, and especially when they pay for that. So we try to, and also, if like a Master Xu, she has so many fans. Even if she's 80, she go to stage 90, go to the stage. Still, a lot of people want to buy ticket, but you don't have like a performance experience. You cannot perform well. Nobody want to watch you. If you are young, pretty, then at least they say, well, you're pretty, then we can see you, but you perform no good and you are not pretty, so no people want to see you. So we know that. So we always try very hard to try to perform good, sing good. Yeah.
So when you started the club, who were the other singers, and where did you find them? Did you train them, or did they know how to sing already?
They already know how to sing. Actually, they maybe can only sing one piece, two piece. That's it. But they are really they love Yue opera. That's true. Yeah, but cannot put on stage. Yeah.
Yeah. How did you find them? Did you know them already, or did you advertise to find?
No, because the Shanghainese club, when we have parties, they have an event, then they invite me to sing. So when I sing, that time I'm not a student of Master Xu yet. When I sing, they say, "Wow, you sing so good. I love your opera too." Then we say, "Okay, then let's play together." So we have a parties, then we sing together. And after I become Master Xu's student, then I sing more seriously because I feel she's such a famous person, and now I'm her student. I can let her lose face. Was, "Oh, your student's so bad. How can you took her?" So I think I have to do good. And later on, when I with Master Xu, I feel that she's a person, took your opera as her whole life. She really loved your opera with her whole life. So I think deep in her blood is nothing, only your opera. So being her student, I have to be serious. I cannot just using her name, tell people, "Oh, I'm her student." I don't always tell people, "Oh, I'm her student." But when people ask, then I tell. I don't like other people. I really never think about using her name to let myself become famous. I only think if I'm her student, then I can let her lose her face. If I'm not able to let her to be proud of me, but at least it will not feel ashamed to have me as her student. Yeah.
Yeah. So when did the idea of calling start? I presume you brought up the idea of calling. How did she take the idea that you would call for a lesson?
She's also serious too. She really likes me a lot. That's true. So she wants me to do something in United States. So I said, well, I have some difficulty in singing the high, Then she always tell me to do this, to do that. Then the only way I can just call her, nothing I can do. But she was very glad. She was glad, She was glad that then we can communicate over the phone and able to teach me. And she glad, and she also proud of it. And one time, that was the year 2004, she and also 3 other masters, they have 70-year celebration of their career. So she was invited me. We actually abroad, she has 3 students, United States, me, one in Canada, one in Australia. So she invited 3 of us to go to Shanghai to participate in that event. And finally, because as I told you, the director says, "No, this is a show for professional. You cannot have a 3-piece amateur. This is that's not good." So the director changed the mind. But finally, we 3 were able to sing 1 piece. Was greatly welcomed by audience. And the newspapers and the magazines interviewed Master Xu, and she was proud. She said, "Well, I taught them over the phone." Yeah, I think I'm most benefited from that. I don't know the other 2 because they go back to Shanghai more often than I do. Yeah, because I have kids and I have a job, so I don't go often. So she was proud. She was tell them, she was proud of this.
Yeah. Did you make is it a regular weekly thing, or did you call when you had a question, or how did that work?
Yeah, not regularly. Just when I have questions, then I just call her, and she If she's not able to do it, she will say, oh, call me another time. But most of the time when I call, she's always, I think in my memory, only one time she said, okay, call me another time. Most of the time when I call, she's always there. Yeah. Master Shu is the person he wants to do things, not to talk things. So she's a very also good, very great leader. She can lead, so she knows what's important, what's the point. She never say anything good, great in front of me, but she talk back behind me. She will say, well, I'm very, I work hard, and when I have my special show, my personal show in Shanghai 10 years after I become her student, she was already 90 years old. My performance lasted for about like 3 hours. She was there for 3 hours. And she told me, okay, I can hear for the last piece your voice a little bit tired. She was very carefully, she was really listening. It's not like just sitting there. She was listen to every piece and able to give me advice.
Great. How often did you go to Shanghai in those years?
2 years, sometimes 2 years, sometimes like 1 year. I think no more than 1 year. 2, even 3 years go there. So only when I purposely go to Shanghai is when I going to perform the Dream of Red Chamber, because I really need her help. And after that, because if we only have like a special night, I'm not the only person, I'm not the only main character, so I don't bother her. Most of the time I just watch her videos and learn to copy her. And afterwards, at the very beginning, just copy. But afterwards, when I understand more, then I not only copy her, I understand, I talk to her, and she told me, most important is your feeling. When you perform, the most important is a feeling. It's not how to use your sleeves, how you walk. The feelings most important. I know, but to learn from her is difficult, very difficult. If you learn from other actors, it's easy because you just learn how to use your sleeves, how your face look like. But you learn from her is all her body language is difficult to copy. I feel difficult to copy. For my personal performance, before I go there, and she says, okay, you spend time, I'll teach you the piece, which is the West Chamber, the story of a West Chamber. And when I learn from my I'll say 师姐, sister,
yeah.
She how to use the fan. It's much easier for me to learn from that. But when I try to from Master Shu, she walks freely. Everything, every feeling, everything was in her body, every movement. So it's very difficult. And she's just like a performer, like herself. I perform this character. She's performed like herself. She's already deep inside the role, the character. So it's very difficult. So it's easy to imitate how the step, how you on the stage, the face, but the feeling is difficult. So, but after that, I always try to learn, but it's difficult. Even her student cannot reach or above her. Master is master.
Can you tell us about your solo show and how did that come about? I mean, yeah, and how was it put together?
Yeah, the idea is because I think I'm already like learned from Master Xu for 10 years. And although when I have a performance in Shanghai, she always participate, always come to see, but only one piece, not long, usually
right.
like 10 minutes, 15 minutes, the utmost. Then she does not know how I perform in United States. So I think I want to perform in front of her and let her know after I become her student, I did very hard, try to perform in United States. Then I talked to my husband. My husband, yeah, that's a good idea. Okay, let's do it. And then I have friends in Shanghai. She said, yeah, that's good. Okay, let me help you to organize that. At first, I was trying to have my partner in United States to go together with me. And she says she don't want it. The reason don't want it because she worked too. And also, we really don't know, because if only two, we still have, other people to join us. It's not only two people you can perform. So she don't know how hard. And also, for doing all these, you also spend money too, So she don't know the budget. And I say, I don't know the budget either, but I just want to do it. Then she said, no, I don't want to do it. Then if she don't want to do it, then I don't know who is able to perform together with me. And my friend says, okay, let me talk to some of the famous stars, which I know them too, but I feel shy to ask because they are all professional. They are very famous. They also, I just feel, an amateur to perform together with a professional, and I'm the main character. It's kind of, it's difficult things to do. So I don't know whether they're willing to do it or not. Although when they come to United States, when they perform, I'm also one of the organizer, and they see me perform on the stage, and they know if I'm good or bad. They know. They know my skill, So my friend says, okay, let me do it. So she asked them, and one of them is very kind. And then she says, okay, no problem. Then she says no problem. Then another says, okay. The most difficult one is Shan Yangping. She is a person, actually, I before me, I never see her like perform together with amateur. It's not that she is not good, but her character is like that. She's a kind of very elegant, elegant style. And also, but my husband know her, I know her too, and so my friend talked to her, and out of my expectation, she agreed. I really feel so happy and thankful, grateful for them to support me, and they understand that I performing in Los Angeles is difficult. It's not easy for so many years in a row. So they try to support me. And also, Shanghai Opera Troupe, their leaders, they are also supporting too. One of the reasons, of course, because I am Master Yu's student. And also, they want to support performing in United States. So their band, their they're famous actors or supporting me. So finally was able to put on the stage and also sell tickets. For amateur, they says never anyone in Shanghai is able to sell tickets. I was able to sell tickets because my friends help. And also, and the theater manager is also one of our organizer. So she organized that. And also Shanghai Lenders Club, they also support me. And also there is called Jiangsu Province, Jiangsu Zhejiang Province Club. They also support me. So some communities in Los Angeles support me. And also my 3 best friends support me. They buy air tickets and go from Los Angeles to accompany me. So it really gave me strong support. And when the show was on the stage, at first I was kind of scared. I was thinking, if people will stay to the end. That's why last time we mentioned about it, right? Was scared if those famous stars finished and people will leave over. But Master, she says, don't worry, people buy tickets for you. So they will stay. To my great surprise, they not only stay, but they also treat me like a star. I was so, it's very special, very, very special event for me. I will never forget.
How did you decide what to perform? What piece to perform?
I put those pieces which I already performed in Los Angeles. Only one piece.
So it's a bunch.
That's the one you see 2 weeks ago.
Yeah.
That one I never performed in Los Angeles before I go to Shanghai. So to be honest with you, I'm proud of myself for that piece because I only have 2 rehearsals, then just on the stage. And in Los Angeles, we don't have a band. So we have to use the music, already made music, use the tape. But in Shanghai, we have a band. I'm not used to it because already used to the tape, tape music.
Right.
I'm not used to it. Before that, one time I tried. It's also amateur band. I was not succeed. I was so scared. I cannot follow it. I don't know. It's because my problem or because they are not a professional. Amateur and amateur is kind of who follow who, right? Mm-hmm. For professional, they follow you. They're able to follow you. Yeah. So I was kind of scared. But I only have like 2 rehearsals too. So, and I was on the stage. Basically, later on, I found that maybe I have like 2 places I was wrong and they tried to, catch up. But other than that, I think I didn't make I didn't make mistakes. So it's really unbelievable. Even for myself, I think it's really miracle for me. I never, have any like a performance with them before. So it's a kind of miracle for me.
Overall, how long was the trip from?
From Los Angeles to China trip is like 13 or 14 hours.
No, I mean how long were you in Shanghai to put this on?
Oh yeah, only 6 days before the show. The show was on June 11, and I arrived in Shanghai, I think June 5th or something. And they told me, they says, okay, you should come earlier. I said, well, because I'm working, I really cannot have that schedule, but they says you need to come earlier. So I planned to come earlier, then they told me suddenly, said, oh, sorry, because Master Yuan passed away, so we're going to have a special event to, in memory of her. So we don't have time to have a rehearsal with you as we planned. So you don't have to come early. Even if you come early, we don't have time to, have a rehearsal with you. So I postponed I said, when? They said, oh, okay, then you come maybe 5 or 6, and you can also see the show. So I think I was on June 5th or something. My show was on June 11th. So only have a few days. And the daytime, because they have the special event, they have 3 special shows. So I think I only had the rehearsal June 9th, June 10th, then 11th just put on the stage. So only have 2 days. So it's really, so that's why I feel grateful.
Yeah,
I said, because they are all professional, and for them those shows they are all familiar, and for me, so people says, do you scared? I said, no, why scared? They are all professional. Of course they are better than me. So I don't have nothing to worry about. Of course they're better than me. So if I perform, not good, that's within my expectation. If I perform good, that's really a good gift from God. So I'm not scared at all. So on the stage, I just perform whatever I feel I do in Los Angeles.
Mm-hmm.
So it's a good results.
Yeah. So did you bring your own costumes and props, or did you just use things that are available when you got there?
I use my own.
Yeah.
Only the one, Mengli Jing, the one which you saw that, because I don't have the clothes.
Mm-hmm.
So I bought that. The clothes was, they told me this is a Master Shoes piece. she used to wear this.
Mm-hmm.
That's the only one. And all other costumes I already have, because I performed in Los Angeles.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay, great. Did you have more shows in Shanghai after that?
That's all small piece. And I have a big piece, is not in Shanghai, in Shaoxing.
Okay.
In Shaoxing, we had the group of people, our year troupe, we all go there, and for the story of West Chamber, and we also got the second prize.
Great. We will come back to that, but in the meantime, can we talk about how you grew your troupe in Los Angeles?
Yeah, it's a difficult, when we perform, then people to watch, then, they feel good. Like one time, we put, most of the time, those people helping is my friends. One time I said, okay, let me do a survey. People write down how you learn this, how do you learn the show, okay? And anybody want to be volunteer, and anybody want to join us to perform. So we got, one is volunteer, one is willing to show, to join us to perform. And Xiaolin was heard from, says my friend. I even don't know which friend of mine introduced the Xiaolin. So far I still don't know. But, people know me because, when I was in Shanghai Landers Club, I'm also active member. Every time when I have an event, I always give my business card. It's a Los Angeles Troupe, not my law office business card. So because of that, since I'm really keen on the Los Angeles Troupe. I lost a lot business, but I never regret about that.
What do you mean by that?
Because, when I supposed to pass business cards, and the people, when they have like accident, they will come to me, let's get business. Then instead of to pass my business card, I always give my Troupe card.
Okay.
So nobody new friends. They only know I'm Kim on your opera. Nobody knows that I'm working for the office. So they only know, oh, that's the lady for Los Angeles for your Troupe. So that's why I said I lost some, a lot of business, but I never regret about that.
Yeah. Do you remember certain stories of people who joined, and what did they tell you about why they decided to join?
I don't remember. Okay, for example, one is Stephanie Zhao, who was a famous dancer and a composer, dancer composer. She loves your opera, and her sister. I met her sister in Shanghai when I have a performance in Shanghai. So her sister says, "Oh, I have a younger sister in Los Angeles. Maybe she is able to join you." So she introduced her sister. So now Stephanie Zhao is our main character. And also we have another character, Annie Wang. And because she learned opera in Shanghai, and her teacher is also master shoes student. So she knows that I have a Troupe in Los Angeles. So when Annie goes to Los Angeles to live in Los Angeles, she introduced her. So she says, "Okay, can I join you? So and so recommended me." I said, "Of course," And also we have a good actress, Wei Wei, and she has rich experience performing in Shanghai before she came to us. She found us when she see our Los Angeles. I think it's just from online about our Los Angeles troupe, and then join us. Last time Wei Fang told you also she was introduced by Xiaolin.
Right.
Yeah. So.
Great. How many people come with like no experience whatsoever?
We have several.
Where do you start when someone comes to you and said, "I have no experience, but I really like what you do"?
Yeah, just recently, this Saturday we had a performance in Bonita Theater, and we only have one piece. Just like last time, we have 6 minutes, but this time is a different piece. And one person just came from China. She says she's only been in Los Angeles a few weeks, but she was a volunteer for this event. And immediately when she saw our piece, she rushed to the backstage. So I want to join you. I have zero experience. I even have very, very little about your opera. I know very little about your opera, but I really love your performance. I want to be one of you. I just had a conversation with her today, and she asked me, "Can I join you? If you feel I'm not qualified, I'm willing to be a volunteer." I says, "Well, when we go to stage, we have a certain standard, but if you want to become just a member of us, we have no limit. So long as you are willing to join us, so long as you're willing to, abide by our stimulations, so long as you are willing to learn, you're welcome. She said, okay, I want to be a member immediately. I'm willing. I said, well, our quarterly fee is like $40. She said, I'm willing to pay right now, even I'm not participating in any of your activities. I said, oh, no, that's not worry. Okay, I will introduce you some piece, then you can watch and you see which part you like. And I said, well, from my judgment, you should be suitable for Hua Dan, not for Xiaosen, female lady, not for man. She said, why? I said, well, because I see your appearance. But later on, if you want to change your mind, that's fine. But that's my judgment. I'll show some piece, some link. You can watch and learn first. And anytime you have any question, you call me. I will tell you. And later on, I'm going to give her some piece. She said, well, she had experience in choir, so she's able to sing. I said, well, okay, that's good enough. Even some people, we have a long time ago, we have a young lady, and she's not able to sing good, but she loves to sing Yue opera. We also teach her, just one by one. We don't have like a class. We don't have a class. And for rehearsal, we just like you follow. You choose one piece. When you sing, we try to correct you. And you try to copy from a video, then we try to correct you. And once you reach a certain level, then you're able to perform on the stage. Once you perform on the stage, it will be more strict to you. Just like that.
So when you give someone a video to begin with, and you just give them like a YouTube link or something, or
yeah.
What do you just let them imitate at the beginning, or do you give them any instructions?
At the beginning, very beginning, they have to copy. They have to imitate.
Right.
That's the first step.
Then you start movement and singing at the same time, or do you prioritize one or another?
I want them to practice singing first. And once you can sing a piece pretty good, then you start to learn other things. If you're not able to sing good, I don't suggest them, or I don't encourage them to learn how to, walk, how to use your hand, your sleeves. No, I don't like that. Mm-hmm. I want them at least one or two pieces. It's perfect good.
And what does singing good mean?
Singing, you have to be collect a tone, and you have to be almost the same like the original piece. You cannot, you say, I want to sing this way. No, because we are not professional. You don't have your own school, okay? You have to copy the school you learn. And this is the very beginning. And then later on, when you go, even for professional, they have to be very strict to like the school. If you sing, don't like the school, you want to have your own style, no audience will accept you. So same thing, you have to sing, perfectly good, more copy very well. If you cannot copy well, copy well, that means you're able to sing good. If you don't copy well, because you some way, of course I will tell them sometimes, okay, maybe you sing this way is able to reach. If you don't use the correct way to sing, then you'll never reach that. But at least they have to copy themselves. Then they can sing. Then I can tell them. From the very beginning, even if you tell them how to open, no way. Nobody will understand what's the problem. Yeah.
So after you give them the link and they work, how long do they, how when do they come back to you?
We don't set up a time. It really depends on how hard they are and how talented they have, you know. Some people, they very fast. Some very fast.
Very fast means 2 weeks, a month?
No, even, you know, some of course they sing before.
Right.
You know,
right.
They sing before. Some, if never sing before, you know, then that really take a long time. If they sing before, you know, we have some, those young people, like a week they learn 2 pieces, and very good.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it really depends.
Yeah.
The very individual.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And then you work with them individually afterwards, or?
Yeah, you know, for Saturday, we used to, if we don't have like a performance schedule, if we have a performance schedule, then we have to,
Right.
you know, have the schedule first. If not, then, you know, we just say, oh, everybody sing a piece, and then you choose, you know, then they sing. And young, you know, the newcomer, usually we give them more time, but they needs more time. But if we have like a performance schedule, then we have to put it aside.
Yeah. So on a regular Saturday, you just come in and wait for, I mean, do you know who you're going to work with when you come in on Saturday? Let's say you don't have a performance coming up, right? So what is the Saturday rehearsal like?
If we don't have a performance, then usually I will say from which time to which time is for the new members, okay? Then you choose the piece you want to present. Then they present. And even, you know, because we have different rooms, even if we have like a performance schedule, then this room basically is for performance schedule. And outside, you know, we have new members, or they practice a little bit. Then, you know, I sometimes just okay, listen to or watch, see what they are practice. And here, you know, for the event performance, usually we have our director, so I don't have to pay much attention. Only when I'm one of it,
Right.
you know, performer, and otherwise I give it to our directors.
Mm-hmm.
So I pay more attention to the new members.
Are you the only teacher, or do several people teach?
Like what I mentioned, our Lian Lian, she was the formerly she was a professional actress. She's kind of famous in Shanghai before she came to United States. So she teaches. So, but she does not like teach like a one step. When we going to have like a performance, like one piece, then they just like a rehearsal. Then she will tell them, okay, this you need to be corrected, this you need to be improved, you know, this you should, you know, act like this, you know, that's her job. She will be the general director. And once we have like a celebration event, like the one you see in last time, you know, because we just provide one piece. It's Stephanie Zhao. Usually, she is the one to organize, and she teaches. She like compose how we walk. You know, in this way, in that way. You perform like this. You like that, and I also have another Wei Wei. She is a very experienced performer in Shanghai, so she has rich experience. So I told her, okay, when Hua Dan, you know, the ladies, if their performance, even though their features doesn't look good, you should try to correct them and to present how to do it. So actually, those three basically, they helps a lot.
Great, wonderful. You talked a little bit about this last time, but for your big shows every year,
Yeah.
When did you start the big show?
Year 2006.
Right, so you had scenes, but did you make a conscious effort to do an entire opera?
Yeah, we have two entire opera. That's The Dream of the Red Chamber and The Story of West Chamber. That's the whole show. Other than there was only a part of it. We said that's the best part of one show, so we put them together. So every time we may have 6 to 7 pieces. So in this way, the reason is if we have the whole story, then only have two main characters, right? One male and one female, and the other is not the main characters, But if we choose the piece from each story, then at least for each one have two person is the main characters. Usually for those kind of a piece have a less supporting roles. So in this way it's easy, and maybe everybody can have a two piece for one event. So in this way, people will be more concentrated and get improvement. Yeah, if you're always supporting, then the interest is different, right?
Do you generally put on pieces that they already worked on separately, or do you give them new pieces when you start planning the show?
Yeah, if every year we always put the new pieces, because it's for me, I like repeat the old pieces, because here you don't have many chance other than our own event, then you have less chance to perform. Then you have a close, most important, because the first performance and the second performance should be different. You feel, oh, maybe I need to correct here, I can perform better this part, I should be in this way, so you can improve. But for audience, they don't want to every year watch the same. So we seems actually we never repeat ourselves. Only when we perform in other chances. But every our called event, night, opera night with always new piece. But the new piece basically they choose by our members themselves, but have to coordinate. Because sometimes they say, oh, I want to perform this, and then we say, well, this may be not suitable for the audience, they maybe don't like it. Then we think we have to balance, I like and audience like, balance that. Yeah.
How do you know what the audience like?
If only sing, just sing, less a story, people maybe don't like, because only a performer see your skill. You have to very good skill. Okay, if you don't have very good skill, but you are perform the skill requirement piece, then audience will not accept. And we try to choose those ones, make people easily to get into it. And some stories people already know. For example, 梁山伯与祝英台, the butterfly story, right? The Chinese Romeo and Juliet. So a lot of people already know the story. So if you perform that piece and the people already know the story, it's easy to pick it up. And for The Dream of a Red Chamber, the story of a West Chamber, also is because they are all adapted from famous Chinese novel. So people already know the story, so it's easy. And also they are very, very good piece by the professionals. They know, how people like, so it's already a great piece. So long as we copy good, so we are not afraid. But other than that, then we have to think about. One time, my piece, 皇帝与村姑, and the audience later on told me, Joanne, because you perform, and the people is able to stay to the end. If not you, people is going to go away. I said, why? He said, because many years I build up a lot of my fans, so they come for me, you know. And then later on, right now, all my members, they build up their fans. Mm-hmm. So now, but at the very beginning, most of us are my fans. Yeah. So when I sing that piece, because that piece is a complicated story, people don't understand what is it. The fake one, what is the true one? What is the fake one? What happens? So they don't understand the story. So just piece, they don't understand. So, but they like my singing. They like my performance, and also because they are my fans, so they stay to the end. So since then, I said, well, we'll be very careful. Otherwise, if people go away, you know, it's for me, you know, wasted their money, you know, and they will not come back. Maybe we lose some audience, so we have to be careful about it. But it is a very difficult job because you cannot really guess what the audience like, and I have to balance what our members want to perform. So sometimes I have fighting with them. I say, no, it cannot be that long. But they say, well, this piece is that long. You cannot shorten. I said, no, you have to shorten it. And then, you know, have argument, but sometimes they say, you're not reasonable. I said, no, okay, no, reasonable or not, I decided you have to do it. You do it or you don't do it. Then they have to. But, you know, I said, well, it's not for me. It's for the show. You know, someone has to make a decision. Mm-hmm. And if not me, who make decision? I don't want, because our wrong decision and lose our audience. Our audience is most important. So it's kind of difficult for me.
You're right. So you decided to do a competition in China, right?
Oh, yes. Yeah.
Do you want to talk about that?
Yeah. It's the first time they invited me. They says, okay, we're going to have a big event. That was in Shaoxing. That was in year 2016. Then say, okay, you'll be a VIP guest we invited. I said, okay, I'm coming. Then say, okay, what piece are you going to perform? I said, Meng Li Jun, that one you see. I say, because I'm the emperor. I said, okay. Then everything decided. I buy air tickets. And suddenly they told me, oh, we changed the plan. Instead of like you are invited a VIP guest, you should also participate in the competition. I said, what? I don't want to compete with anybody. You know, then he says, oh, yeah, I'm sorry, but, you know, everyone, you know, we invited the VIP guests all participate. Then I said, well, if everybody to participate, I don't participate, that sounds like not cooperative. It's not good. Then I said, well, I don't like your rules for the competition. Their rules says the competition is not professional to give you points, but online. Who like you, who gave you one points. So the people has more points who's the winner. I said, no, that's not fair, because I'm in Los Angeles. I don't know the audience in China. How can I find those people to vote for me? Mm-hmm. So I said, no. I you know, if I perform, if the professional says I'm good, I'm good. If they says I'm not good, okay, I accept I'm not good. That's fine. But you says online, that's not fair. No, I can't. Then a few days later, then they tell me, okay, we agreed. The audience, they have online, but just say the people they like best. but not the first place, second place, the third place. The first place, second place, and the third place are given by the professional judge. I said, okay, that's fair. You know, if they feel I'm not good, that's fine. I accepted the reality, okay? That's fair. So I go there and I performed. Then I get to the first grade. And they give me very good comment. Says I perform like a professional, and I perform really has the like my master shoe. So very good comments. So I'm very glad I got it. And then they interview me and says, okay, you have any like a wish? I said, my wish is someday my group, my troupe, my people can come to Shaoxing perform. That's my dream. Okay, that's my hope and my wish. Okay, then 2 years later, and they invited me again. Say, okay, your group, your Los Angeles youth troupe can, you know, come for the competition of a group competition, not personal. Personal, we have other people participate, but for group. I said, well, that's what I want. So we participated. But that time, we have bad luck. The first time when I go there, they give us the hotels pretty good, very quiet. I had good rest. And this time they give us the hotel. It's very noisy, especially during repair. So every day, ping pong, ping pong. Okay, no good. And evening time, the restroom and the room has a wall. It's not a real wall, it's a glass wall. So anybody in the restroom, the lights is on. So when I sleep, I cannot have any light. So I didn't have a good sleep at all. Besides, we have a time difference. So it's no good. I said no good is voice is not good. Performance is good. But the voice is not as good as I expect. But anyway, they gave us very good comments, and the professional judges says, wow, yeah, they look like a professional. You know, it's from United States. That's kind of unbelievable. They perform unbelievable good. Our troupe is the character, I mean, was more different from other groups in China. Yeah, other, you know, amateur groups, they only have their main characters good, and the supporting characters is not that good. But for us, because every year we have, everybody has their own, you know, main character, so they have been trained. So when they become a supporting roles, they perform good. So our main roles and supporting roles are perform good. Mm-hmm. So that's, well, you are kind of even, you know, it's not like the main character very good or good, but you are all good. You are all good. So, and also we have to like have a time from Los Angeles to China and perform. So we all working. Our members are all working. So it's not easy.
Yeah. How many people went?
I think six of us.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Did you have an orchestra at that time, or did you have a?
No, we have like
you play recording.
Yeah,
okay.
plays a record. Yeah, recording music.
So looking back on this experience with the competition, what do you think, and would you ever do it again?
Yeah, I would be love to. You know, once you for competition, you always take it seriously, and audience in China is more, you know, easy to find, and also when they organize it, they organize their own audience. So I feel more comfortable.
Great. And I mean, you talked about all the judges talking about, you know, this group in Los Angeles and how impossible that is. Did any of the audience talk to you about, you know, just having this group in the United States?
You mean the Chinese audience?
Yeah. People in China, what did they say? Were they surprised that there was this group, or?
Yeah, they're surprised. They feel, wow, in United States you could have a group of people so keen in your opera and you can perform like a professional. So they're kind of surprised. And talking back about my special performance back in year 2011, also people surprised, and they go back to, you know, the back stage, and they all wanted me to sign name, treat me just like a star. So kind of very, very excited and very touching. Yeah.
When was the last time you performed in China?
Year 2018.
What was that occasion?
That was in Shaoxing. That's the.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that's our competition.
Right.
Yeah.
I know recently you can't.
Yeah.
Because of COVID,
Yeah.
but yeah. So you've had this troupe for 19 years, right? You started 2003-ish.
Yeah, actually, next year will be our 20 years.
Right.
So we try to celebrate, and by, you know, the only way to celebrate, I think, is to perform more.
And what are your plans right now?
This year, actually, we have 2 or 3 stories is on preparation, and one of it is called Qing Tan. They already rehearsed for a long time. I think 4 or 5 months already, 3 or 4 5 months already, and they are going to videotape it first, and because we really don't know how many audiences are willing to go back to the stage, so we're going to videotape. And my piece is also under preparation. We purchasing costumes, and soon after the November 11 performance, then we're going to rehearsal more frequently. And the third one is hasn't been decided. Either 梁山伯与祝英台 or 陆游 or 唐婉 will be put on stage next year.
Okay.
Yeah. So next year definitely we'll still have our opera night. So every member who are able to perform, they'll, you know, have their own piece. Yeah.
Have you thought of developing a new piece in the U.S. that is?
New piece? What do you mean, a new piece?
Like a new your opera piece, like a
new composition.
A new composition, a new story.
Composition, we don't have the ability to compose by ourselves, I think.
Okay.
Yeah, we can only perform whatever it's already exist. Yeah, one time a person approached me, says he has he can compose a new one, and you know, I think it seems not that realistic, because this needs a lot of work, you know, to compose. It's really professional job.
Right.
Yeah, so I think we don't have the ability to do it. Our ability can do to compose is only like a small piece for like a special event, a few minutes, you know, combine here and there, this and that, combine them together, and compose. That's we can do. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Other than that, I think we don't have the ability.
Okay. Yeah. So, what impact do you think your troupe has had on the Chinese community here and further, and non-Chinese community as well?
We try to extend our influence to more communities. Like every year for celebrate Autumn Festival or Chinese New Year, we always perform a small piece, and then more people knows about Los Angeles Year Troupe, and also more people like. And for example, just 2 days ago when we performed, someone sent me email, not email, sent me WeChat, said, "Oh, your performance is great," and he is a very good photographer, and he says, "Okay, next time when you perform, I'll be willing to take photos for you guys." And also the one immediately go back to the backstage, "I want to join you." So, and we also other, I don't know, but still influence. Every time when you perform, if your piece is good, no matter what, people will love it, and they like it, and your influence by and by. And we really want have a chance to perform in the American societies, communities.
Mm-hmm.
Then in this way, and more people. I think American people, maybe they like your opera will be better than Beijing opera, because maybe because I love it, and I feel we have the the advantage of the beautiful tune. It's more soft, right?
Mm-hmm.
Beijing opera, of course, they have a lot of acting, especially different. We are more more gentle. Our tune is more beautiful and soft, and easy to be accepted by audience. It's more beautiful, right? You can see the beautiful. Last time, because we are opera, if not opera and prime minister, then you'll see our ladies costumes. It's more like a fairy from the painting, so it's more beautiful. So I think American people will love them if we have a chance to show them. Yeah.
So what if you have no financial barriers or time barriers, what is your dream for this troupe?
At least every year we can have one story put on the stage, and also to perform different locations in the United States. That's my dream.
That's in different cities, or?
Yeah, different cities and different states. Yeah, maybe New York, Washington D.C., Las Vegas, so long as they are interested, if they invite us. I told my group, we are not for the money. We are not for to get something, because we love it, and we want people love what we love.
Mm-hmm.
So we are not for making money. So any organizations invite us and say, "Oh, we can find the audience, we can provide you with the theaters, but we are not going to pay you." I say, "Okay, no problem. We're not for money. We want people love it like what we do."
Is there a certain story that you want to put on that you haven't yet?
Not really, just at the very beginning it's very difficult, that's true. When we make the tape music, I have to find piece by piece from karaoke. Then my friend to put them together, and I try to get part of it from the show, the piece, but it's not that clear music, but still I have to. So put the karaoke ones and linked with the one we cut from the original show. So it's very difficult. And my friend, I sit next to him because he don't know your opera. Mm-hmm. And I tell me this piece combined with this piece. Then again, you get on this piece. Then he put them together. When I listen, oh, he is no good. Okay, cut a little bit here and add a little bit here. So it's very difficult. A lot of time I work together with him. After dinner, I go to his home and work until 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock in the morning. And also for like flyers and also the brochures, I also ask my friend, okay, can you do it for me? I also sit next to him. I want this, I want that. Then they all do it for me, no charge at all. Mm-hmm. So I really appreciated the very beginnings, the most difficult time, they gave me the support that they give it to me. And then later on, Xiaolin and Wei Fang, and now we have Xiao Ai. Those major young people, they helped a lot for put things on website. Mm-hmm. And Peace, Wei Fang is a very capable person. So she did a lot of things unbelievable. I can never imagine she can be so helpful. Put the piece together, or we don't have it. She called in China to find one. Mm-hmm. Of course, we pay some little money, but even before she find this place, even if I want to pay the money, I can get the piece. And she put, every time when we perform, she put the videos together so we can immediately see it. So she's very capable people and very willing to help for our troupe. So anyway, there are a lot of members in our group. They in a different way to help this troupe to develop. If without their helping, our Yue Opera troupe wouldn't be like this. Yeah, so I appreciate it, every of our member.
So what is it about Yue Opera that you, or your organization, or you, what do you think inspires so many people to be so generous with their time and their skills?
I think the most important is because they are all love Yue Opera. Mm-hmm. That's the most important motivation. Of course, you try to treat people nicely and equally, fairly, and the people feels when they stay in this group, they're able to develop their talent. Mm-hmm. They have a chance to perform. They have a chance to make their friends. I think that's also one of the reasons. But most important, I think, is themselves. They are generous person. They are capable person. Mm-hmm. They're willing to share. They think about, they take this group as their own place. So they want to, do whatever they can help.
When was the last time you saw your master?
My master died.
Yeah.
She passed away. The last time is on her funeral. I saw her. But before that was a year, let me see, 16, I think. 16. Yeah, she's almost 5 years. She passed away on the 17th. So I saw her on her funeral. So I fly back. You know, she passed away on her age of 97. So peacefully.
Do you have any lasting memories of
Yeah,
the
it's
last
so
time?
vivid. Still so vivid.
Yeah.
Every little thing is so vivid in front of me. She's very nice to me, and I really missed her.
Yeah. So, different question, but I think I mean, we sort of have to ask this question.
Mm-hmm.
How has COVID affected your troupe?
Oh yeah, it did affected us from the very beginning. We already have a schedule to perform for a community to celebrate the Chinese. It's not Chinese New Year. Celebrate the Yuan Xiao Jie. Yuan Xiao is the 15th.
Yeah.
Yeah, and we already set up that, and because of the and also I also been invited to perform, to sing at like a event, celebrating event in Thousand Oaks or Northridge. In Northridge. Thousand Oaks or Northridge. Yeah, anyway, we have several performance invitations, and we have all scheduled. And because of the pandemic, they canceled one by one. And we're afraid to get together to have a rehearsal, so we stopped the rehearsal. And starting from, I think, May or something, then we're starting to have like online. Every 2 weeks, we just online sing, everybody sing, you know, like that. Until last year, July last year, we go back to normal rehearsal. The three stories shows we were scheduled before the pandemic, but because of the pandemic, we were not able to rehearsal and not able to put on the stage. Yeah. So far, since the 2019, that was the December was the last show we put on the stage, and so far all our performance only limited to community events, not our own. So that's the pandemic, but we still did a lot. December 2020, we videotaped over like 50 pieces at my backyard and another, you know, some other members' backyard. We set up the, you know, the background, and we recorded, then we perform, and we put in the, you know, videos. But each piece maybe about like 5-6 minutes, something like that. But we total together for almost like over 50 pieces. So everybody have 3 or 4, and you know, once they say, oh, we are going to have online a performance, then we give them one piece. So we give them one piece, and I even use that piece to participate in the online celebration autumn festival this year, organized by Shanghai, and also participate in one of online competition, and I also win the first prize. Yeah.
Do you think anything that you did during COVID has long-term influences on how the troupe is run?
Not really, but at least 3 years waste, you know. For me, not young anymore. So 3 years is very important to me. Yeah. So.
But you have a show next summer, next spring.
That's our plan. Hope will, everything goes well.
Great. Okay. Anything else you want to talk about?
No, I think we already talk a lot. Talk a lot.
Okay. Thank you so much for sitting with us for so long, and thank you for sharing your experience and your knowledge.
Yeah, thank you very much for interviewing us, and I wish your program will help us to let more people know us and,
we hope so
and
too.
like it. Okay.
Thank you so
much. I just so much.